Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So it's been a month since the fall of Bashar al-Assad, and we were very happy. You were very happy. The whole ummah was very happy, alhamdulillah. And we've seen since then a transformation of people like al-Jolani, Muhammad al-Shara, Ahmad al-Shara, from what was seen as and projected in the past as, some kind of terrorist bogeyman figure, and now he's transformed into some kind of respectable statesman. I guess my first question is, many people might be thinking, what do you make of this?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Actually, there are so many lessons. Even someone sent to me a post by, I think, a Dutch guy, non-Muslim, and he had the picture of al-Jolani or Ahmad al-Shara or al-Jolani previously with the turban, etc. And then next to that, his picture with the suit and tie. And he said, well, this is a lesson for everyone, that don't go back and think of your past. You can still make a better future. Just from pure, he was talking about it from, what is called as self-development, from a pure perspective, from that perspective purely. So this is a lesson. This is a lesson that, still you can, don't let your past dictate your future. In fact, this reminds me of a statement by Muhammad Ali Clay, that if you look at the world when you are 40, with the same glasses that you looked at the world when you are 20, you have lost 20 years of your life.
SubhanAllah.
So this is a huge lesson. But let us move from this lesson to other lessons.
So would you say then it's been more of a genuine transformation in his thinking and his objectives, or has it been what some people might be thinking is more like just a PR makeover?
PR maker, no, I disagree with that. Because if you look at the whole situation, if you evaluate the whole situation, don't just evaluate him, evaluate this interim government with him. Al-Bashir, the prime minister, the interim prime minister, and the foreign minister, al-Shaybani, and Anas Khattab, the intelligence service. Intelligence services, the head of the intelligence services. You see that there is actually an attitude change with the whole group. So, and it is impossible that it is just this is being done like as a PR. Maybe he can do it as a PR, but what about the rest of the team? This is one thing. And the other thing, many people have confirmed, and especially through the interviews. He had carried out a number of interviews. Among them is the Ahmed Mansour interviews, different interviews, and Al-Arabiya interview as well. That he is admitting that now I am a different person, not in terms of ideology, etc., but my role is different. I was the head of a militia. Now I am responsible to run a state, at least until this state is able to flourish and to continue in the interim period. But this actually raises so many questions that when the West, and maybe because his name is put as a terrorist internationally, by the UN, when they classify an individual or a group like this, have they taken the right steps before classify an individual or a group like this?
I mean, usually the critics would say It actually doesn't mean anything to be prescribed. It's more of a political thing. Nelson Mandela was a terrorist.
It is a political. This is my point.
One man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist.
Exactly. But which shows that there is the world and the countries that classified him, are motivated by political agenda, and they are not maintaining justice, and they don't have integrity. They don't have real just values. And when people look at it like this, then they will lose confidence in the justice and morality of those institutions and those countries.
I mean, that's what's been happening with for 15 months, 16 months of genocide.
Yes, and this is what is
happening.
And
it's exposed really that the prevalent world order is not something which is based or tethered or anchored to some kind of justice or any kind of value.
There is no rule of law.
Yeah, it's just if someone's you're either a friend, you're either ally or an enemy.
Yes.
If you're an ally, we'll support you doing genocide. We'll give you political cover, diplomatic cover, narrative cover. If you're an enemy, we'll dehumanize you. We'll sell weapons to destroy you and your lineage and everything. And people are recognizing this.
Look, for example, people are recognizing this, and I really hope that there are some wise people within the superpowers, including our country here in the UK, including, of course, the United States and others, that they will say, well, we need to stop this because this is going to lead us to lose our status in the world. People will lose confidence in our values. We'll have no values. We will actually fall, ethically, even if we do not fall militarily. That destruction, that moral destruction or moral failure
it's kind of already
will
happening.
lead to actually civilizational failure. Because if there is a nation that is valueless, this nation cannot survive as a superpower or as a civilization. And this, I hope that there are some wise people within Western countries to open their eyes to this. And see, even, the Syrian regime, no one has ever imagined that this Syrian regime will fall like this, will vanish like this. After, the 54 years of the genocide that they have taken against their own people. And when we see, images and pictures of the villages and the cities that they have destroyed, some of them are almost like Gaza. The person will question what kind of people are those people. But my point is that when people see that despite the strong grip this regime had for over 50 years and the support he received, first of all from the United States and mainly from Russia, from Iran, and there many people, and it has been confirmed that in the beginning they received support from Israel, and Israel in many during even his father's period, Israel was in support of him because his father has surrendered al-Qunaytira, the Golan Heights, to the Israelis. So despite this, those armless Syrians managed to vanish him. This is one of the lessons that we need to extract from the whole thing, that it should be a lesson for all tyrants, that one time you will vanish, you will leave. And when you leave, people will curse you. People will never feel sorry for you. People will never remember one good day.
Ruling people based on fear and oppression is a temporary
enterprise. Yeah. So I hope that they wake up. whether the Arab tyrants or even the Western tyrants, because maybe some Western tyrants are not, show this tyranny to their people, but they are showing tyranny by supporting the genocide that is taking place in Gaza.
Absolutely. Okay. And I mean, it's exposed cracks in our own system here. It's
everywhere.
Exposed people. It's allowed us to clear up some of our own political class and establishment. Slowly, we saw the Muslim vote, for example. Elect something like 30 or 50 pro-Gaza MPs generally.
Yes. Yeah.
Pro-justice MPs. I mean, we've seen...
So let me just say some more things that, okay, the question is, have the world misunderstood jihadists? This is a question that intellectuals should ask themselves. Yeah? Or, let us put it like this, have the world, especially the Western powers, intentionally
misrepresented
the so-called jihadist.
Well, I mean, it's usually tied to foreign policy for the US. I mean, remember in the 80s and early 90s, the mujahidin was seen as a they were like a culturally, Rambo in Afghanistan here in the film Rambo, he was supporting them and freedom fighters,
and they were supported by the US because they were fighting against Russia. And then they were targeted by the Americans.
So they became the hero becomes like the villain in public.
So this is a fundamental question that everyone should ask himself this question. Every society, they should ask themselves this question, that most of the Muslims, I'm saying that there are some Muslims who might go in the wrong way, but most of them, they want to defend their rights, and that might lead them to a very extreme discourse when they see that the West, imagine, for example, the Gazan people, when they see that the whole world is conspiring against them, when they see America is supporting this genocide against them. We read just now in the news that Biden, before leaving, he signed an 8 billion
arms
help, arms support for Israel before he leaves. And now, do you think that the people of Gaza will like the United States, will like their policy, will like their government? And then we blame the victim and we say, oh, you are terrorists, you don't like us, you hate the West. It is because of the West is doing. So back to the point that the so-called jihadists, they are just normal, the so-called jihadists, have the West misrepresent them, or are they freedom fighters who want to support their countries, they want to support their freedom? And once they see, this is another point, once they see that, well, there is hope, then their quote-unquote extreme ideologies will not become extreme ideologies anymore. They will be state people, because they see that there is hope for us, and there are rooms for us to help our people, to help our country, etc.
Well, people might be wondering when you use the word jihadist, are you using that to refer to just a mujahid?
Or somebody, I'm saying, those,
like jihadists might be seen as like a takfiri, someone who goes around wanton violence, just killing random innocent people.
No, we are not talking about that. We are not talking about that. But unfortunately, this is my point, that the West has put all those who resist in one basket. Yes? And this is what I'm saying, that now people who are smart enough will start losing confidence in the Western rhetoric regarding quote-unquote jihadists.
So they'll see, wait a second, yesterday you were telling me these people are just mindless zombies who just hate us for our freedoms.
Yes, and now we see them that...
Now you're saying, now that the actual, the dictator was removed, they seem to be all of a sudden really normal people that just want the same things.
Not
that
even
most
normal
want.
People. Now, for example, Ahmed al-Shara, so many of the reporters, they say that, well, he is just a statesperson. He has plans to look after Syria, to rebuild Syria, and he is even extending his hands to the West to help Syria and the Syrian people.
So this adds wind to the sails of those people that have been saying for decades that people don't hate the West because of some irrational, ideological reason.
Absolutely.
They hate the West because of policies, because of oppression, because of what the rulers in the West and ruling regimes have been doing to them and their people.
And the West is standing next to the genociders, supporting the tyrants, supporting the dictators. That's why. Okay.
So we've seen the fall of this secularist dictator, and we've seen that happen at the hands of an openly Islamic or quote-unquote Islamist, spearheaded few groups. Obviously, they've included many other groups, but it's obviously undoubtable that because of Syria, 85% Muslim or something much higher, the main groups have had a clear Islamic flavor and discourse about them. And now people are wondering, what's that transition going to be like from the vicious, brutal secularism to something Islamic? What are your views about that?
Just before that, let me mention something that actually look at the way Western media has dealt with the new administration of Syria. And instead of talking about the real challenges facing them, the BBC reporter, what did he ask?
Are you going to allow alcohol and bikinis?
Would you allow alcohol? Come on, man. This was a very embarrassing question. Mm-hmm. He embarrassed the whole BBC. Oh, we know that it is a heavy loaded question and he wants Ahmed al-Shara to make any mistake. Yes, in order to start tarnishing him. But this was a very embarrassing question. You came to a country that almost half of the population have been displaced. In some villages, 80% of those villages have been destroyed. You have seen the infrastructure, almost 70% of the infrastructure of the whole country has been destroyed. And then you are asking him about what? Alcohol for the guests, for the visitors. This is very embarrassing. This shows that the West is not really up for human rights. Once we talk about the West, we are talking about, of course, unfortunately, media and politicians, some media outlets and some politicians. They don't care about the human rights. Yeah, they care about their political agenda. This is one question. And the other question is they are asking them about the minority rights, women's rights. Have you seen that they have violated the minority rights? Why didn't you ask them about what are their plans to rebuild Syria? And how can we help the Syrian people? Forget about the administration. Don't help the administration, but help the Syrian people. They need hospitals. Yeah, they need clean water. Well, some of the areas, as we said, they are destroyed like Gaza. Yeah, they need shelters. They need tents. They need the basic requirements. They need schools. Why don't you offer to help them in those areas if you are up for human rights, as you always sing the song of human rights. You went there to exercise pressure on them and to ask them these silly questions, and you just left them helpless. And then you are still, look what the foreign minister, okay, of Germany, she embarrassed its country, she embarrassed her country, and she embarrassed the whole Western world by the way she dressed, and then the way she was talking to him, and the way the topics that she addressed with the new administration. She didn't ask about the plans to rebuild Syria. How can Germany help the Syrian people, not the Syrian administration? Yes, and same thing with other, unfortunately, with other countries, including some Arab countries, some other Arab countries. They really wanted to help the Syrian people. Yeah.
So how? You see, the reason why, especially the BBC, for example, okay, there's an agenda at play. There's a subtext, right? That you're one of the good ones if you imitate us.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, colonization has always had these twin impulses to dominate and to quote unquote civilize, to fashion the subject in one's own image.
Yeah.
So if you allow alcohol, if you allow bikinis, if you allow people to imitate your superior Western lifestyle, then you're one of the good ones and you're worthy of support. If you don't, then they want you to slip up. They want you to. They can't necessarily, overthrow you directly, but they can foment discontent amongst people. Like what happened in Egypt, for example. Because people, even minorities, they can cause an issue if you don't treat them properly, and they can, people will come to them and try to
definitely
foment civil unrest or whatever, and have you overthrown. But Jolani, Abu Muhammad Ahmed Shara, he seems to have said all the quote unquote right answers. Now some people have read into this that, okay, look, he's just he's selling out his Islamic principles. Why is he saying, why doesn't he be firm that we're not going to allow alcohol? What do you make of this?
See, first of all, I would like our brothers, let me speak to our brothers first, that they should not, they should respect their knowledge, they should respect themselves, they should respect their understanding. Okay, the situation is so complicated in Syria. No one knows exactly all the details that are happening there, that are taking place. What are the agreements? Maybe some people are talking about agreements between him and maybe Russia, maybe him, or I mean the administration and America through Turkey. Maybe Turkey has given Russia and America certain guarantees. Maybe he is playing it, he not him alone, the whole new administration, they are playing in a mine field. So let us not just rush in evaluating them and start criticizing them. Now, what if we are really sincere about their flourishment and their stability after they have get rid of this dictator, we should make dua for them. All Muslims should make dua for them, for the Syrian people who have been suffering for over 50 years. We have seen the images and the clips of the prisons, etc., etc. So this is the first thing. The second thing, whenever it is possible, now I heard that Saudi Arabia, they have started a new campaign to call medical doctors from Saudi in different fields to send them to Syria to help.
Mashallah.
I don't know when that will be possible for us here in the UK to do something like this. Maybe we can send engineers, we can send donations, we can send, I don't know when that is possible. And that's why if the West is really sincere, they should remove their name from the list, the proscribed list, in order for the whole world to start supporting those people. As we said, some of those people, they were subject to a genocide similar to the genocide that we are witnessing in Gaza. And this is not fair. So it is so early to judge. And I say that even if it is not early to judge, we don't know all the ins and outs, the complexity of the situation. So I don't prefer that we have like a solid judgment and say, well, he's doing well, he's doing bad, and then we confirm that. We can say whatever we see, it looks positive. And in fact, whatever we see, I'm reading the analysis of so many analysts, whether in the West or in the Arab world, and some Syrian people. Some of my friends are Syrian people, and they know the situation very well. And all of them, they praise the new administration. Of course, they have reservations about certain things, but in general, they say that his outlook, even his dress.
What are some of the things they praise him for?
So for example, they said that his priority is to maintain stability, and security is his top priority. And this reminds me of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when Afshu Salam, when he was about to enter Medina. What was his declaration or manifesto to run Medina? He said, أيها الناس أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام وصلوا بالليل والناس نيام. So Afshu Salam represents establishing peace. And this is the priority of the new administration. This is really good. And part of that, he said, no more militias. Now they have to surrender their arms, lay down their arms, and join the national army. The other point, they are now restructuring the national army, which is very important. Also, they have established an interim courts for those who were involved in crimes during the previous regime. And they have sent so many calls to people not to take revenge from those who have committed those crimes. They have to hand them to the authorities. Also, part of this, they have spoken to the minorities, whether to the Alawites, whether to the Kurds, whether to the Ismailis, whether to the Shia even, and the other minorities, that listen, you are Syrian. We will see you as Syrian. Anyone who committed a crime, they will be held accountable for those crimes. Other than that, you should be treated as Syrians. And from this perspective, from the citizen perspective, or being the citizen of Syria, we will treat you equally. This is also a very advanced, discourse. Also, the fact that they were ready to run the country. Of course, there will be mistakes, there will be bigger challenges, because they've been running Idlib for almost 4 or 5 years. So they have taken the same setup, and now they are trying to implement similar setup in the whole of the country. So this is a very advanced thoughts. They didn't just say no government, let us start building a new government. Also, some people say that he didn't go for elections now. I read so many commentators who praised this move. They said it is not now to go for elections. You cannot come out of a revolution against a dictator system, against dictatorship, and along with the revolution you have democracy. It won't work and it will backfire.
Because of deep state?
Because of the deep state. And the infrastructure is not there. The country is not ready. Yeah, so this is a very smart move as well. The fact that he started to build diplomatic relationship with key players in the area. Of course, with Turkey, they established good relationship with Turkey because Turkey, they have long borders with Turkey, and Turkey is the country that it seems that supported them, and Turkey hosted almost 3 million Turkish people, Syrians, before that. But with other players, main players, such as Saudi Arabia, mainly Saudi Arabia. And they managed to build initially a good relationship with Saudi Arabia and to marginalize some of the areas or some of the issues that might create conflict with the Saudi government. Also, they built good relationship with, of course, Qatar. Qatar was among the first countries to support them, and they've been supporting them during the whole period. They also extended their hands even to the Egyptians. Even they extended their hands to Iran. Yeah, despite what Iran did against them, they said, listen, if you want, we can open a new chapter. And we are not against the Iranian people, but we are against the policies that you have applied against the Syrian people. So I think these were very smart moves from him. That's why I'm really surprised how this person who was classified as a terrorist, he has this quick, rapid, unimaginable within a matter of a few days. Because before 8th of December...
Why are you surprised?
Yeah, because...
If the terrorism designation is just a meaningless, politically motivated thing.
I agree with you. Okay, but the image that they have posted about him...
Yes, it's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he has this transformation. This is really amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and this transformation is something that triggers so many questions. So, in general, so far, they have done, the administration is doing
they appear to be saying the right things.
Yes, definitely his political language, and also not his political language, but the administration's language has been really very advanced, and even the way they have treated the people, their people, even they visited the Christians, they received the Christians, they received the Alavites.
Security forces to protect their Christmas celebrations, all these types of things. So from a PR perspective, it seems, like they're ticking all the boxes. But even to rebuild their country, they started, each department or each ministry started really to work on that area. And you mentioned something in one of the Islam 20 dinners, I think, that just somebody who was trying to get some document signed or something before the overthrow of Assad. Yeah, it took them months and months. Can you share that?
Yeah. So one of the ladies have actually sent a message. Yeah. Okay, voice message, and she said she is overwhelmed. She could not believe that the same document that she wanted to stamp a few months ago took her sister, almost 2 months to get it stamped. The same stamp, she managed to get it within less than an hour.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
So like just bureaucracy has reduced, efficiency
Everything.
increased.
Even yesterday there was a clip from the borders between Jordan and Syria. And someone randomly recorded that clip. And he said, oh, I remember that. Okay, that the bribes, they ask us for bribes, they humiliate us, they slap us, the customs, the Syrian customs. Yeah. And here now look, the person in charge, he came to the bus and he said, welcome to Syria, sorry for delaying you. And he said he didn't delay us. Sorry for delaying you. This is we hope that you enjoy in your country. Those Syrians, we hope that they enjoy their country, and those who are visitors, we hope that they enjoy their visits here in Syria. So many positive things are taking place. The airport, they said that they are trying to run the airport. And what is interesting as well is that they called all ex-employees to continue their jobs. Yeah. And they said anyone who has participated in any crime, he will be held accountable. But others, even if they were supporting the ex-regime, the Bashar al-Assad regime, but they were not involved in any crime against the Syrian people, they can continue
amnesty.
Yes. Yeah. Amnesty is another step that they have taken, which is the soldiers, the police men, they have, if they come and handed their weapons and arms, they can go into rehabilitation in order to join the forces again, which is something really fantastic. Yeah.
So Sheikh, you've always been someone who talks about Islam as a civilizational building edifice or enterprise, right? That from as far as I can remember, you even saying whenever we do these like large events, one of the things I remember you said years ago was we want young people to see Muslims or identifiably Muslims, they can run things.
Yeah.
They can manage events, they can book large venues, they can make things go on time. And it's always stuck in my head that, do Muslims have what it takes to run countries in today's day and age? What Islamic principles, what Islamic guidance is there for running a state, running a government, running a country today?
Okay. Can they do that? They can do that without a shadow of a doubt. If external forces do not interfere. Even disunity among themselves, they can manage it to a good extent. Yeah. If external people did not apply divide and rule. Okay. External powers. And in Islam gave general guidelines on how to run country. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, Afshu salam wa at'imu ta'am, he said, peace and security is the first priority. And this is what was mentioned even in the dua of Ibrahim. Rabbi ij'al hadha baladan amina. Second priority is what? Economy. Yes? Wa at'imu ta'am.
Feed each other.
Feed each other. And the third priority is social stability. Wa silul arham. So Islam gave the very general guidelines on how to run things. Also, we see in the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took certain administrative what you call tactics or processes from even non-Muslims. In the battle of the trench, when the Sahaba suggested that they build the trench,
different strategies from different cultures, different civilizations.
And the Prophet ﷺ said, no, this is from the kuffar, I don't want to take it. No, he never said this. Salman al-Farisi, he said, we used to do this. This is a good tactic. Administrative issues, we need to do it. Even Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he wanted to set a calendar, yes, he did not take the non-Islamic calendar, but the idea of a calendar, he said, well, this is a good idea. We need to implement it. Yeah. So Islam gave these guidelines, and Islam is a very pragmatic religion from this perspective. That's why al-asl fi al-mu'amalat al-hil. Yes, is not like salah. Salah is the original principle, don't do. Yeah, do it as you have seen the Prophet
it's restrictive and it's
heavily regulated.
Yeah.
Yes, but other than that, other than the ibadat and the kafarat and the hudud, Islam has a
in your dealings, in your transactions, in your politics.
Yes.
The rule is reversed.
Gave very general, wide guidelines, and those guidelines are what? As we said, security is the first priority, economy is the second, social stability, and maintaining justice is the aim. Maintaining justice. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط. And by the way, Islam, maybe this needs another podcast to discuss, which is Islam is far more superior than the Western ideology from this perspective. Islam said the key goal is to maintain justice. Yeah, not only that, but also have rahmah, al-ihsan. Inna Allah ya'muru bil-adli wal-ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba. So maintaining justice
and mercy.
Of course, non-divine systems. When we say Western, we are talking about non-divine systems or non-Islamic systems. They don't have mercy. They don't have afu. They don't have pardoning. Okay? So this is one thing. But the other thing is, even the new administration, they were asking about Western governments. They were asking about democracy. They were asking about the elections. Because see, democracy, is it a tool or a goal? Is it a tool or a goal? I know this is maybe a bit philosophical and maybe we cannot discuss it now, but Islam is looking at the goals, is not focusing on the processes or the tools that lead to that goals. Justice, if it is maintained in any way, that is what is needed, justice. Yeah, but unfortunately the non-divine systems, they focused on the tools. So you have to implement democracy even if it doesn't work,
even if it leads to injustice,
even if it leads to injustice. Okay, so there is here a serious question that needs to be asked. So these are quick guidelines. Even in terms of the current international law. Yeah, Islam, although maybe this is another topic, although classically Islam classifies the world as Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb. Yeah, this is classically when there was a Khilafah and other systems. But now the world has a pact under the United Nations. So that's why even contemporary scholars, and even myself, I say that we need to take the international law into consideration, and maybe we need to look at this classification differently, the classical classification, because there is a new context, there is a new reality that we need to deal with. So Islam is a very pragmatic way of life from this perspective.
Everything you just said about Islam, would you say the same? Would you just use the word Sharia as well synonymously?
Yeah, synonymously. Sharia
because some
is
people,
Islam is Sharia.
Because some people have it in their minds that on the way, maybe it's the way we talk about and discourse Islam and Sharia, that there's something called Sharia. It exists as a separate entity and you have to implement it.
Yeah.
And they're not implementing Sharia yet, but one day you're supposed to just implement Sharia.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what you're talking about is, no, wherever you are, even here in any position, if you are implementing those things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do, then you are implementing Sharia.
Exactly.
Is that a correct estimate?
Absolutely. So we here in the UK, yes, we are implementing certain elements of Sharia. We are marrying according to Sharia. We are eating according to Sharia. Yes, the halal meat is according to Sharia. We go to pray according to Sharia. Our women wear hijab according to Sharia. We give our zakah according to Sharia. We treat our parents according to Sharia. We treat the elderly people according to Sharia, etc., etc., etc. Okay, same thing. That's why, when some brothers start to criticize the new administration that, oh, now you are not implementing Sharia. No, they are implementing Sharia. In Syria, they are implementing Sharia. Sharia is not limited to just punishing and flogging, and this is a misunderstanding, misrepresentation of Sharia. And by the way, Sharia commanded us that in certain contexts we go gradually, and that's why even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hudud, yes, the penal punishment code, was not established the first year the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina. Even in Mecca, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took into consideration the context of Mecca. Even the Quran that was revealed in Mecca, as Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said, that the first verses to be revealed in Mecca, they were the verses that talk about Iman, Jannah and Nar. This is part of the implementation of Sharia. So the implementation of Sharia is contextualized. And I want our brothers and sisters to understand this. The implementation of Sharia is contextualized. Moreover, the implementation of Sharia is subject to the outcome. To the outcome, to the masalih and mafasid. You cannot implement something that goes against higher principles of Sharia. You cannot implement Sharia in a way that goes against the justice of Sharia. You cannot implement Sharia in a way that creates havoc, and civil unrest for the rest of the people.
Shaykh, it's 1:15. Do you want to go for Salah, or can we carry on a bit?
No, let us
wrap up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any?
I want to kind of go in a bit more details, but I'll just say we've seen. There's another question I wanted to ask Sheikh, and I asked Mufti Mangera this the other day as well, that we've seen people being arrested, for praying Fajr, or growing their beard, or doing basically
in Syria, you mean?
Practicing Islam under Bashar al-Assad is tyrant, secularist tyrant, and they've been released from prison now, alhamdulillah. My question was, surely, does this level of control and fear of the people, does this not trickle down into the type of Islamic discourse that was permitted to be taught and spread throughout the country? Would this have had an impact on the type of Islam taught? And now post-Assad, post-liberation, do you think the teaching and the discoursing of Islam will change in Syria?
Okay, definitely.
And what would that look like?
Yeah, definitely. By the way, all tyrants, they teach Islam in a particular way. They focus too much on rituals, on rituals, minor rituals. They don't focus on Islam as a civilizational system. They don't talk about injustice in their systems. They want people to spend years and years studying Kitab al-Tahara, and not understanding anything about the Islamic justice, Islamic system. They also teach and focus on Islam that that praise and promotes the leadership of the country.
Obedience to the leader.
Obedience to the leader.
To the ruler.
Yes, to the ruler. They push for that because it serves their agenda. And they don't focus on the fundamental principle in Islam, which is كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. Of course, after Tawheed. تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. They don't talk about that. They don't also.
It's basically secularism.
It is a form of secularism. It is a form of secularism, and they are pushing. Yes.
So every tyrant does this.
Haitham al-Assad was like this, and also other tyrants are doing this. And now, see, if we teach Islam in a very balanced way, in a very comprehensive way, starting with the higher aims and objectives of Sharia, this will be a transformation for the entire Muslim Ummah, and the Muslim Ummah will be able to rebuild itself in a great civilization as it used to be. And this is hopefully, inshallah, what will happen. And I'm very optimistic, inshallah, that Syria will do something like this.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to head to Salah now. But I'm going to push you to try and to get follow up with this. And please, you've been obviously following what's been happening in Syria, and we want to know more and as developments emerge. So Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for your time. And Jazakumullah khairan to you at home for watching. If you like this podcast, give a like and a share. Let us know in the comments below any question you want me to put to the Shaykh and other Mashaykh about this topic or any other topic in future episodes. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.